Hi there, welcome to Ruby's Vocal Lessons, and today we're going to be discussing another grade 5 piece together, which is Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. This is again very similar to the Emily Sandé one. It's quite emotive, it's quite emotional, and I do suggest that you do take a look at my channel on the reference video that I have done for this one. So we're going to get straight into it with an overview. We're going to discuss the overview of this piece. The song is similar in some ways to the Emily Sandé one just because of the emotion. We're wanting to portray that like we did last time, and we're wanting the audience to feel it and realise it too. So this song is about somebody that's thrown themselves into love, it's not quite worked out, and it's possibly been like a wrecking ball. We do need to try our best to relate. I know it is hard when you've not felt like that, but put yourself in her shoes, feel the lyrics and see how you could relate to it. So I always do a overview for each song that I do, and I do 3 main points that I do feel that the student may struggle with. So this piece is typically in the mid-range, the lowest note being a B flat. We'll look at that later on. So number 1, clarity and diction. Clarity and diction are really important. Just like how I portrayed in the last video, when singing emotively, we want to make sure that we are pronouncing the words correctly. This is so the listeners can understand it, hear it and feel it. Understand, hear and feel. That's the main things when you're singing emotively. You want them to understand how you're feeling. We are trying our hardest to tell a story, and we're trying our hardest to relate when we can. Number 2, breathing placements. Another important one is breathing placements. Just like I portrayed in the last video, it is important to be able to mark your breathing placements. This is a singer's holy grail. If you don't mark your breathing placements, it's going to be very hard for you to find where you're comfortable. My best advice for this is get some lyrics printed out in front of you and do the dashes. This is perfect, and even when you're watching these videos and you're having them there, you know where you're comfortable breathing and it will flow better for you. I do promise that. Breathing is especially important on the higher parts of the song and on the belts. We are going to be working with our diaphragm very closely today. We're going to be using them muscles and we're going to be pulling it in as hard as we can. Number 3, pitching. Pitching is a vital part of this song and it needs to be very precise. There is quite a few jumps in it, especially in the first verse that I will discuss later on, and we need to make sure that we place the pitching correctly and that it is marked in our brains. Now, one of my favourite ways to suggest to students on how to mark this in our brains is doing it in a head voice first. So, we clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. Just sing it a little bit lighter and repeat it over and over until you've got it. Pause this video here if you're struggling. Another way to do it is you can do it on the piano as well. If any of you talented students can play the piano, it's another way to just find the pitching. So, are we ready to jump straight in? Verse 1. Okay, let's look at the first verse. The first verse does have quite a few jumps in it. We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. By jumping like this, we are switching the pitch quite quickly. However, if you have marked it like I've suggested to start with, you're going to find it easier. If you haven't, if you just pause this video here and keep doing it for me. We clawed, we chained. My best way with what I do repeat this quite a few times, the ladder. So you're here right now. We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. You're jumping 1 step up the ladder, just 1, and then you're going back down. That's the best way we can look at it. The first verse is the same the whole way through, so once we have perfected that together, we'll smash it. So keep doing that for me, and if you're struggling, pause. If you feel like you've got it, swap back to the next one. So now we're into the pre-chorus. We've hit the pre-chorus already. It's pretty impressive. Some parts of this can be quite low, so some of you may be able to hit it. However, if you can't, there is ways we can approach this together. Please don't worry. Don't turn off the video and think you can't sing it, because we definitely can. So in the pre-chorus, the lines that are difficult, don't you ever say, I just walked away, I will always want you. That you is difficult. So what we're going to do together, if you can't hit that, don't you ever say, I just walked away, I will always want you. That is going to work for you. If you can't hit it, do any riff you want. I will always want you. You can do anything you want to make it easier for you, because sometimes our voices just aren't perfected to hit some notes, and that's completely normal. Another way to hit the lower notes, if you just stretch your mouth for me, go, oh, oh, you do a yawn, and you can hear your voice hitting that lowest part of the yawn. Oh, there. That's warms up your voice sometimes for the lower notes. But like I said, it can be completely normal not to hit them, so please don't think you can do it. You can't do it when we can. So the pre-chorus is much like the first verse. It is quite repetitive. Once we've got the hang of it together and placed it, we will be able to carry on. So we want to try and keep the volume minimally low for this bit, just because we are building up to a climax. However, I do want you guys to still sing this on a belt. To be able to achieve this, we must have effective use of our diaphragm, this part of your body here. This is the best muscle that you could have for singing, and I just want you to use it as well as you can. The warm-up videos display a great warm-up for your diaphragm. Oh, that's what I want you to do now for me. Oh, and hold it as long as you can. So once we've done that, and it's in a healthy way of course, the chorus is the same the whole way through. We just need to make sure we are placing and pitching correctly for the chorus. So we need to make sure that we are portraying the emotion and feeling the song the best we can. So I came in like a wrecking ball. So sing it on a belt, but just keep it minimally low for me. I came in like a wrecking ball. There we go. So the second verse is slightly different placing to the first verse. There are still a few pitch jumps at the start, so we need to make sure that we run over those together again. So it's exactly the same as the first verse. We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. So if you're not getting that, go back to the video and watch it again. We just want to make sure that we're not missing steps and we know what we're doing. I would also start to add some riffs as well into this. Make it your own. Sometimes as a singer myself, I feel like when I put my own twist onto a song, I feel it more. And if you're not feeling it and relating it to it, put your twist on it and you'll feel it. So pre-chorus again, just start to build up a little more volume and dynamic for this one. We do not want to give the audience or listeners the climax too soon. However, we do want to start building up to it. So keep building up on that. Keep it going and make sure that you are taking on what was mentioned in the teaching of the first pre-chorus and mark it in your voice correctly. And then we're on to the second chorus. We have reached the second chorus. It is slightly longer than the first one, so we need to make sure that we are using our diaphragm the best we can. If you are struggling with this, I suggest you need to hop back again and take a look at the warm-up videos I have made to help you guys out. We need to make sure we're adding lots of clarity to this piece and express how you feel in the way you sing. Start to get louder at this point. The most important part is to stay emotive. Keep that emotion there. Don't lose it halfway through. So well done guys, you have reached the end of part 1. We are doing great so far, and if you pop across to the channel, look for the part 2 video and let's keep learning.